Welcome back, and joining us for a look at the day's market-moving news is Makwe Masilela from Makwe Fund Managers. Thank you so much for your time, Makwe. Now, the U.S. markets have been smashing it. Another week of record highs last week. Of course, we have seen those markets trying to extend those gains, but the JSE not really smashing it too much. I mean, for most of the day, it was slightly flat, but now managing to eke out a gain. And I'm wondering, what is supporting the U.S. markets here, not the JSE?
I think ultimately the earnings are coming to the party, and so far companies that have reported managed to come with good earnings. And then more importantly, even the tech companies, yes, some didn't do that great, but most of them did so well, so they managed to lift the US market. And also the fact that I think at some point markets are starting to realize that, the old lesson that please don't fight the Fed. So markets have just accepted that the number of rate cuts that they expected, they're going to be less than what they thought. So basically, we've been driven by the earnings, the U.S. market and other markets. I think mainly we've been trading central banks, because you check the data, you check the comments. The minute you say that, no, it's not looking that great, we start dialing back. And in a way, we've managed to take that in our chin that, listen, earlier rate cuts are no longer going to be happening, but at least we're still convinced that there should be some cuts sometime this year.
All right. Well, let's get into some of the company news that came out of the JSE. Not a lot, though. Let's start off with Calgro M3 that came out with a full-year trading update saying that it expects a headline earnings per share to improve by at least 20% from the previous comparative period. Of course, we did see that share price surging more than 5%. I mean, is this a small cap of value for investors?
Yes, still a small cap. I think it's just around 600 million or so, the market cap. But we've always said that the best way to reward long-term shareholders is to do share buybacks. Because you buy those shares, you reduce the number of shares in issue. And we know they've spent almost 72 million or so. So that managed to help them, because now you've got few shares that they have to share in the earnings. Hence, we see them having expecting their headline earnings per share to go up by just around 20%. And they're doing well when it comes to their core business, not that great. We know the guys are developing houses, apartments, especially trying to make them affordable for the first-time home buyers, and also some of the memorial parks. But given the economic conditions, we don't see them doing that great. But for now, it's all because of their prudent allocation when it comes to capital.
Yeah, and also really looking forward to seeing those results, of course, as we sift through the operational performance there. Curro, I mean, they didn't really come out with anything hectic on SENS. Of course, last week they had that trading update that investors didn't quite receive so nicely. That share price is still under pressure today. I did see it down about more than 3%. And I was even surprised that we're still under pressure, because we got an update that the shareholder, Metal Industries Benefit Funds Administrators, actually took out more of a stake in the company. And I'm wondering if Curro is still suffering from last week's trading update, and maybe the market's not paying attention to the shareholder that increased its stake today.
I think it's more of a secondary reaction, and is continuing to say that, remember, yes, they did manage to say that they will increase profits. But if you dig into those numbers, we only see some increase when it comes to higher or high school, as we used to call it, the learners thereof. But the primary school not doing that great, an indication that young families continue to struggle because of high inflation, high interest rates. So these are the people that's supposed to be going through the whole learning system, for the next coming 12 years. So if numbers are not that great there, then it continues to be a problem. And also that write-off, yes, we know it's an accounting requirement, but 340 million is kind of massive. So markets are reacting to that. And we are all saying that consumers are depressed, so will Curro continue to attract? And I think also the matric results of some of their schools, I don't think they were too convincing given the amount of money that people are paying compared to public schools.
Yeah, indeed. You want a good return on your investment on that front if you're going to pay that much money for private school education. Let's go into the automotive sector. So also another interesting thing that I saw on Motus is that the PIC expanded its stake in Motus, where now it holds a stake of 24.75. What is the PIC betting on here?
You know, we know that pension fund money is long-term funds. We know they've got a lot of patience, but I think the one coming from the PIC, they've got more patience more than any other thing. Because remember, the benefits coming out of there, they're guaranteed,
Yeah.
because that kind of thing. But as it stands, we've seen that the guys are not doing great for obvious reasons, high cost of living. And also when it comes to vehicle and parts, price inflation was higher than expected. And as it stands now, we think that when maybe the economy starts turning around, maybe the Reserve Bank starts reducing interest rates later sometime this year, when maybe we start having some political stability or certainty when it comes to policies after the elections, then probably the likes of PIC, they expect to see a nice pickup. The likes of Motors, they cover almost the whole value chain when it comes to that sector. So it's a nice play when the economy is doing great.
All right. Well, talking about nice plays, what is your stock pick for today?
I think we need to understand that, listen, trees that don't grow to the sky. S&P has been going up, and all because of this nice earning stuff like that, and mainly from the tech. We think at some point there need to be some consolidation. So I think that the likes of S&P at some point, it has to consolidate. So we rather short it, and there is an instrument called the SPXU. So that's what we will go for it for now.
I've been wondering, Makwe, when people are expecting a big correction there. So, of course, we will wait and see. Thank you so much for your time and for your insights today. That was Makwe Masilela from Makwe Fund Managers.